Hey guys, Brian the Leverage of the Goods here, returning to you again tonight for this next episode 8 review this time for Lord of the Rings of Power Season 2, Episode 8, the series season finale that I got a chance to watch for myself. See what I was going to think of Season 2, Episode 8 for the final episode of Lord of the Rings of Power. So I'm going to discuss what I watched for this episode and let you know my thoughts on it. So let's dive into this episode 8 review. And this was like an hour and 13 minutes from what I watched, and I was very entertained with this final closeout for the season 2 finale. Pretty much Sauron gets revealed in episode 7 and close to 8. So he basically, the elves are trying to, I think Celebrimbor gets captured by Sauron in a way because he killed the Eregion guards and all that, so he used some kind of like magic or whatever, or some kind of sorcery to basically turn their blades towards each other, the Eregion soldiers and the Elvish soldiers, and they killed themselves. So basically, it's pretty sick, but it happened. It was part of the episode. I think it was at the end of episode 7, if I remember correctly. But Celebrimbor just doesn't start talking when pretty much Celebrimbor sees his future, and he says someone's gonna take you down and be the downfall. The rings will be the downfall to you, and someone will be worthy enough to slay you in the end. So, pretty much Sauron didn't like what he heard, and he stabbed Celebrimbor with a spear and lifted him up and killed him. So that was the end of Celebrimbor. And it was sad, because I actually liked the guy who played Celebrimbor. He was a good actor, and we're not going to be seeing him in the next season if we get another season of Lord of the Rings of Power, which I have a feeling we're going to get a season 3 coming very soon. But I don't know when that's going to happen. 2026, I'm predicting. But the rest of the war kind of plays out. The dwarves do come at the end of close to the end of the episode, and pretty much the Uruks are still trying to. I think the Uruks get attacked by the dwarves somewhere around like the 40-minute mark or something like that. Because at the beginning of the episode, you see King Durin, the Prince Durin's father, go after what's that thing? Balrog. The Demon King or whatever. So he's the guy with the whip that took Gandalf down in where he said, "You shall not pass," and all that from Fellowship of the Ring. So pretty much, King Durin tried to go and attack him, but I guess he died in the process. So it's unfortunately he met his end. King Durin did, and Prince Durin was grieving over the loss of his father. And yeah, I think this episode was pretty good. There were a few critiques I had with it, but other than that, it was a strong episode, and you see the stranger also trying to save Nori and them, and then he finally goes on his own path eventually, and that's where he says, "I'm Gandalf." So he finally reveals that he's Gandalf. So he's been Gandalf all along. I had a feeling he was Gandalf, the stranger was. So you get to see more of him in Season 3, and you get to find out where this character is going to be going as the story unfolds for Season 3, if they do make a Season 3. It just depends on if they want to keep it running. Because it is a very popular show on Prime. But I think the war scenes were pretty outstanding, and Galadriel fought Sauron close to the end of episode 8, and Adar does die. Unfortunately, it gets revealed that he dies in the final episode. He gets killed by his own kin, the Uruks. And pretty much Adar does, he kind of changes his tune and says, I will help you kill Sauron, and I will basically leave Middle-earth in peace and not destroy it ever again. And then basically he changes his tune and his ways and all that, and then they kill him for it. So it's pretty sad, because he was trying to do something good towards the end, near his life. The end of his life, pretty much. So in this episode, it was really strong, and the performances were great. And I mean, certain performances, like Galadriel's performance, I'm not sure. There's some moments where I like it and moments where I don't. But I think her performance was alright. Oh, excuse my yawning. But still, it was enjoyable of an episode for a season 2 finale, and you see a lot of things unfold in this episode. And yeah, at the end of the episode, the stranger reveals that he's Gandalf. He finds his own name. So there was a lot of quite interesting moments. But if I were to give this episode a score, I'm going to give it a strong 9 out of 10. It's another great episode. Great season 2 finale. Not one of my favorites, but it still was strong. And if I were to give the whole season a score, I'd have to give it an 8 out of 10. It's a good season. The problem with this season was a few episodes were kind of a little weak, like episode 2 and I think episode 4 or 5, one of those. But other than that, I think the season was pretty strong in its own way. It was a good season. It was not as good as season 1, but season 1 had some really strong moments, and it was a pretty good season. This one is a little weaker, but it is strong in its own way. So, it's good in its own way. It has its strong points and its weak points. But overall, I think the rest of the episode unfolded as Isildur goes back to Numenor, and Pharazon's son or whatever is trying to take over this village or whatever and trying to claim it under his father's name or whatever, and make statues and build stuff. Get the people of that town to build stuff for Pharazon. So pretty much another ruler trying to, just a mad corrupt person that's basically trying to rule over Numenor and trying to bring it to its destruction, the dictatorship in a way. So pretty much 9 out of 10 for episode 8 for this review. I hope you enjoyed the season 2 finale for this episode 8 review. I'm sorry that I didn't get around to it sooner. I had that Hurricane Milton come in, and I hope I don't get another hurricane, because I'm kind of getting tired and pissed about that. Because it's getting on my nerves. These fucking storms close to the end of hurricane season. So, it's ridiculous what Florida goes through. It's just fucking weird global warming. So, 9 out of 10 for episode 8 for Lord of the Rings of Power season 2 episode 8. I hope you enjoyed this review tonight, and thanks for watching.